Hi guys, welcome to part two of Darren and I's coverage of E3 this year from college gaming videos. So what we talked about in the last video was our biggest announcements and biggest shocks of E3. This time, me and Darren are going to go through our top five new game releases, or first time we've seen gameplay, or something like that, of our favorite games of E3 this year. So Darren, you want to take away with number five?
Okay, so I actually couldn't just fit five into a list. So I'm just gonna give a quick honorable mention to Dead Rising 3, which is shown at Microsoft's E3. That game looks absolutely like just brilliant. Like the sheer amount of zombies. I've never seen a game that has so many zombies, and just looks so cool. Like he combines like a broom with a saw and just like starts going to town on them. Now, I know that's pretty normal with Dead Rising apparently, but I don't know. I was just really impressed by it. The graphics look really good. So I just want to give a quick shout out to that. And also,
Okay,
oh yeah,
firstly, we're doing that as an official number six now because I need to talk about how excited I am about Dead Rising. And by how excited I am about Dead Rising, I mean how disappointed I am by Dead Rising 3. What the fuck are they doing? What are they doing? Completely against everything Darren said. What the fuck? I can't even remember what studio makes it. What are they doing with Dead Rising 3? If you've played Dead Rising 1 or 2, as I'm sure some of you guys watching have, you will know what the games are about. This is not Dead Rising, this third game.
oh
This
because
is a
it's like
new
more serious and stuff. So
this is a new IP they called Dead Rising 3. It's not similar to Dead Rising in any way, shape, or form. It's fine. The game looks quite cool, but the fact they're calling it Dead Rising annoys me because it's not. It's a completely different game. Dead Rising 1 and 2, you get a wheelchair, strap barbed wire on it, and put two fucking saws on the side and drive down a shopping mall. That's fucking Dead Rising. This is like some gritty, realistic, everything's grey and brown outside like survival game, which is cool, but it's just like every other zombie game we have. Dead Rising
well,
was
except it has a billion
different.
zombies on screen at once.
Yeah, so that technical achievement doesn't make the game any better or worse, for that matter.
Well, it's a
But
gameplay thing.
it means it looks cool. Dead Rising last one had like the most zombies you could get on screen at each one time, and both of them when they came out, it didn't affect the gameplay particularly.
All right.
But
Okay. Well, it
it's
was an
just really,
honorable mention. It didn't actually make my top five, but okay.
but
Yeah.
it's in there now.
I haven't played the other Dead Rising, so that's
Also,
probably why I'm
also
not.
my last little point, just a sentence, is the fact that they announced as one of their big things you could call in extras like artillery strikes from your phone while you're playing. And no, this is not a remote thing. It's not someone else who's on the App Store can play it and call an artillery strike for you. You can do it because I do have three hands. When I'm shooting zombies, all I want to do is get my phone out and call an artillery strike. Genius.
Yeah.
Number five, Darren.
I never understand that second side.
Moron.
Well, I had me.
No, not you. I can't remember the developer.
I had two games just to honorably mention. I was just gonna mention them quick. I didn't realize we were gonna go into it that much. But the other one was Titanfall. This is a new game from Respawn Entertainment. They're the people that made Call of Duty, the original Call of Duty, like for Modern Warfare. Um, Obviously that's not the original, but the best, most famous one probably. So Titanfall is a game where you're like just running around shooting mechs and things. It's like a big multiplayer focused game. At first I was thinking it sounds kind of crap, but when I watched the gameplay on Microsoft's E3 press conference, I thought it actually looked really cool. So just giving that an honorable mention. Didn't quite make my top five, but there it is anyway.
Just very quickly, it's made essentially by Infinity Ward. They made some good games, then fucked up. I'm not trusting it until I see some more of it.
Okay.
Next.
All right, so my official top fives. Number five is Destiny. It was shown at the Sony press conference. Well, this is the footage I've seen anyway. At first, when I first heard Destiny, I didn't think it was that great. Like it's just like an MMO shooter. But when I actually watched it on Sony's conference, like I thought it was really impressive. The public, the way you can go into like large scale games without even leaving your friend. It's just kind of like Borderlands, but just with more players and like they're expecting to have the game go on for like 5 or 10 years or whatever they say, and these dynamic events that happen like this, they're all of a sudden they're in this like public game just by just clicking yes when it comes up, would you like to be, and you see this massive building fall down. It looks really cool. It's just like much more immersive kind of game, like multiplayer, like tied into like a single player kind of playthrough, just playing with your buddy. Like it's really cool. So yeah, that's my number five.
I don't know too much to say about it. It looks really good. It's not a new announcement. They're talking about it for a while, but it's the first time we've seen anything solid from it, and it looks good.
Okay, so you're number five.
Okay, so my number five is controversial among people. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I like the look of Rise. And which obviously is an Xbox exclusive, which obviously puts it back in my head, but I've got some problems, some things I love about it, some things I hate about it. Firstly, the setting, obviously, this is gritty, cool Roman scene, and it's not just like God of War or something like that, where it's a pure spectacle fighter. You do actually have, guys with you and stuff like that, which is cool. I like that concept a lot. What I don't like about it is the fact the combat is not, like proper action combat. It's quick time combat, which really lets it down. But so to be honest, it's not something that I don't think the actual gameplay would be very good of. But just with the setting and the visuals, how cool they looked, it has to be my number 5.
Yeah, I think they said something like, a lot of people have that complaint about it. It's all just quick time events or just mash square or whatever Xbox is, and you kill the guy or whatever.
I don't
But
even
I
have
think
buttons on an Xbox.
I think they said something like depending on your guy, you can upgrade him in different ways, and the different quick time events will give you different power ups and stuff. It's kind of adding a bit of diversity, but at the end of the day, you're just doing quick time events, so I
Exactly.
don't know how long you can put that up for.
If I want to play a game that has great quick time events, I'm going to play God of War because it has some of the best. I'm not, that's my quick time events
Game.
amount done. That's all the quick time events I want done. God of
Yeah.
War, I'll play that.
When I was watching
That's
Rise, it was very reminiscent of God of War for me, and like it looked cool, but it's just kind of like I don't know. It just seems like way too unrealistic for the setting that it is.
That's the thing. It's the setting and that the genre and everything that's got it into my 5, but the gameplay looks very lackluster.
Okay. So moving on. My number 4 is Metal Gear Solid 5. They showed it at Microsoft's conference straight away. It's the first thing they showed. They've gotten rid of the David Hayter voice actor, which is a massive bummer. Like his voice has been Snake for forever, and everybody knows this. But they got Kiefer Sutherland to do it anyway. I can't remember hearing his voice that much in it. But just the new Fox engine that they're showing off, this big massive open world. They're making Metal Gear, a big open world stealth game. You can see the dynamic lighting, the time fast forwarding, and different things like that. You can see him getting on horses and just like riding around different places, jumping in the back of vans. It just looks like a really huge, persistent world, and it's just kind of a different take for Metal Gear to go in, and I'm really interested to see what it does. And it's on everything, so I'll be looking forward to seeing what it looks like on PlayStation when it comes out.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid. It looked good. I didn't see all the video of Metal Gear Solid. I like the Metal Gear Solid games, but you're a much bigger fan than I am. But so it's something that I will almost certainly play and really enjoy when it comes out. But I don't have too many pre-thoughts on it. Okay, guys. So my number 4 this year, we haven't seen too much of it, but just the fact that we know it's going to be made or is being made at the moment is Bayonetta 2. I don't think Bayonetta's something Darren's ever played, and it is unfortunately going to be a Wii U exclusive. But.
Yep.
I can tell he's going to play Bayonetta just because of that laugh, because I know any of you that have are going to completely understand why I'm saying Bayonetta. I don't even like Wii's. Bayonetta, maturity. Bayonetta is probably the most over-the-top, good-looking, batshit crazy, balls to the wall, spectacle fighter, quick time game that's ever been made. And this is coming from a God of War fan. God of War, you think's magic, it's killing gods and stuff. Bayonetta, as any of you know that played it, takes it next level. I'm talking about you'll do things like you'll stab someone with a sword and then you'll take them to the moon. You'll fucking fight a spider that's 50 feet tall by swinging a fucking a demolition ball round the earth to hit it in the head. It sounds awful in theory, but when you see it, and if you play Bayonetta 1, you know exactly what I'm talking about, how amazing it is in its ridiculousness. And just because of that, the fact I know it's being made and it's going to be even stupider than the first one, Bayonetta 4 makes my number 4. Bayonetta 2 makes my number 4.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really played Bayonetta 1, so I don't have much to comment on that, so we'll just move on.
Okay.
So my number 3 is Rome 2 Total War. It's quite a dear game of mine that I've been following for quite a while. My favorite game of all time would be the prequel to that game, Rome Total War. And the reason this only gets number 3 on my list is just because we didn't see that much from E3 of it. We just got to see a quick Nile battle video, and we got to see some new features of the campaign. I would have liked to see a lot more, but we didn't get to. But you can go on over to check our Road to Rome videos. We do a big breakdown, me and Toby, of what Rome 2 Total War is and all the new features that come out every week. We're doing new features on it, so you can go check that out if you want to hear more of our opinions on that game.
As Darren said, we're going to be covering Rome a lot on this channel, so if you haven't heard about it, I'd go and watch a trailer or something like that, and we'll talk about it a lot on this channel, so we hope you like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 3 is a game that we haven't really heard much of before. It's a new IP from, it's going to be out on PlayStation and Sony, and published by Sony. And its game's got a lot of hype after E3, even without seeing any gameplay for it. It's going to be The Order 1886. Although all we've seen is a CGI graphic and a bit of the story, a CGI cutscene, a bit of the story behind it, it's already something I think I'm going to really like, depending on how it goes. It's any sort of third-person action game set in a steampunk Victorian-era universe has got my attention, and just with how good that cutscene looked, and they have these steampunk style with transforming takes on modern guns change. It's something I'm really interested in, and it looks really really good.
Yeah, it quite reminded me of like Dishonored. When I first seen it, I thought, oh, this is Dishonored
Hmm.
2 or whatever. But
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know, and yeah, they're just everybody loves that era. Like, well, I don't want to say everybody. I love that era
Steampunk.
personally. Yeah, they're just yeah,
Yeah,
that kind of like steampunk. That's what it is. Yeah, it's
that's
just
what it's
like that
called. Yeah.
kind of like 18th century weird spin on everything. Kind of like, so I just love that stuff. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so look
good.
forward to that. I don't know who it's been made by. Do you?
It's being made. I can't remember what the devs are called. I was just looking at it, but it's published by Sony. The devs are actually. I've lost them. Sorry, I can't tell you. But it's made by a Sony dev.
Okay. All right, we'll move on. All right, so my number 2 game of E3 this year is Battlefield 4. And the reason for this is they showed some new footage of. Well, first of all, like me and Toby love Battlefield. I love Battlefield. It's a great game. And Battlefield 4, I wasn't that excited for it. Like I was just like, oh, it's gonna be great. You know, I didn't think it would even make top 5 on my list because I knew what I was getting. But then seen some new multiplayer footage for it, and you know, you have capture points up in these massive high-rise hotels. The hotels blow up. The capture points fall down. The command view looks amazing. I think that's a really cool addition. One of the things I think they really should have improved on in Battlefield 3 was the fact that giving orders was just to either 1 of 2 points in the whole game, pretty much, unless you're playing Conquest, 1 of 5 points. Um, so I think it's really good that they fleshed that out and you're able to call in like different tactical strikes and things like that. I think that's really cool. And only one person needs to have a tablet or whatever system he's using it on as he's playing the game. I think that's pretty cool, like a little commander. I think it's going to add a great addition to the game. Also, they've done some fine balancing on like suppression and different things like that, and the HUD's been reworked, and the squads are bigger, and the squad balancing has changed. It just got me really excited for the game again, seeing that. So yeah, I just can't wait for Battlefield 4. So
Okay, guys. So my number 2 this year, it's a bit of a toss-up because there's 2 good games I like coming out this. There's a couple of things I like coming out for this number 2 spot. So for me, it's definitely got to be the next Halo game, because it's something that's always been, very. No, I'm fucking joking. Of course, I
Oh
don't
my
want to play
god,
Halo.
it's like wait.
How awful is Halo going to be? Jesus, it's going to be the same as number 1 and number 2 and number 3 and number 4. Get it? Okay, guys. Let me just give you some spoilers for Halo. I haven't seen any of it, but there's going to be a guy in a spacesuit, and he's going to shoot some aliens with really stupid guns that fire purple shit out the front. Spoilers.
Alright, okay,
Don't tell anyone I said that.
Enough
My number
hating
2.
Halo. Let's just go.
I know. I was joking. I prefer, Microsoft indie exclusives like Minecraft, because no one's ever heard of that. It seems pretty low down, but it's a good thing they announced that. Microsoft are just awful. Anyway, okay, guys. So my actual number 2 is going to be something that Darren hasn't played, but doesn't like the sound of. But for me, it's something that recently become very close to my heart, and that's going to be Dark Souls 2 by From Software. Dark Souls 1 I've been playing for about 6 months now. I'm very very new to it. It's obviously been out for a few years now. It's not something that, and I never played Demon Souls, so it's not something that I have a big history with or anything like that. But which is why it's so important to me, because Dark Souls 2 has been such a big part of my last 5 months. It's been
Well, do you
probably
mean
the
Dark
game
Souls 1?
Sorry, Dark Souls 1, apologies. Dark Souls has been a game that I've just been so into, and any of you that play it, I completely understand that. Any of you that don't will have no idea what I'm talking about. But any of you that play it, you know exactly how much it sucks you in with just how hard it is in some places, and all the secrets, all these things you've got to discover. So Dark Souls 2, what they've shown is they haven't shown us too much. They've shown us the different classes and some, fine tuning they've had. So dual wielding is now viable, and it just looks like a better, it looks like a version that's actually going to look good on PC for once. Unlike you all know the fiasco of Dark Souls 1, which has been, the worst port to a PC that's ever been made. It was terrible. But the balancing they've done and what it looks like now, and just the little changes, just continuation of Dark Souls story, I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I take a good few hours of my life away from me.
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't really played Dark Souls that much. I played Demon Souls. Just wasn't a huge fan of it, but we'll just move on. I don't really have much of an opinion to give, so. Okay, so my number 1 game of E3 2013 is Watch Dogs. Now, this arguably would have been my number 1 game of E3 2012 as well, but this year we've seen even more on Sony's stage. I think it could have been Ubisoft's. But anyway, the demo that I'm referencing, you can probably see it now, is when Aiden Pierce, the protagonist, is walking through the city. He's been chased by cops. He runs around a corner. These 2 cops hold the guns to him. He lifts out his phone. He blacks out the whole city. The whole city, all the electricity goes, and it's nighttime. It goes pitch black. He kicks the shit out of these 2 guys, jumps in a boat, and starts going down the river. And the city starts slowly like powering back on. It just sums up the game so well, like how you can just approach it from so many different angles. And I just did not see that coming. It was such a cool thing, the way he can just affect the whole city like that. So yeah, it's just my number one game, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, so Watch Dogs, it is easily my number six. It could have been higher. There's a lot of things that could have been switched around in my top five. It looks like a fantastic game, as Darren said. Just the whole scope of it, and it's got this sort of people go, oh, it's a bit like GTA, and it's got this sort of GTA vibe where it's this free roaming, but in this way that's never been done before, where you can interact with almost everything. And as part of that demo that Darren was talking about, there's another point where you're being chased by someone. You then you lose them in these alleyways and stuff. You end up in a coffee shop. You change the channel and it comes up with your face on a wanted poster. You change the channel with your hacking device phone, and it comes up with your face. And that triggers just one of the random NPCs, randomly spawned NPCs in the coffee shop to get on his phone, and you overhear his conversation where he's about to tell the police that he's spotted you from this wanted poster.
Yeah.
And then you just fucking take his phone away. Just the scale and the scope, and as Darren said, the way you can approach things, it looks like a really exciting game, and I'm very pumped for it.
If that's delivered as dynamically as it's presented, like, it'll just be amazing. It's going to be a really interesting game.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay, guys. So my number one, as Darren's already mentioned, is his number two is going to be Battlefield 4. Now I'm a massive Battlefield 4 fan, and I was never a big fan of the original Battlefield when it was a different style. But ever since Battlefield Bad Company 1, which was my first game I got when I bought my PS3, I've been hooked on the the new style Battlefield games. Battlefield 3 is unbelievable. Spent a lot of time on it on both PC and PS3. Spent a good many hours on it, and it's by far for me, it's my definitive shooter. At the moment, it has been for the past few years. Darren's really touched on a lot of points. I'm not going to talk about it at length, but what really excited me that he didn't touch on about what we saw from this is what they're calling Levolution. Stupid name, sounds stupid as hell, but what it's talking about is obviously the way your impact, you can change the actual landscape of the level.
Well, I think it's Levolution, surely.
Levolution, whatever. Levolution. That makes more sense. Shut the fuck up there. Don't correct me. Levolution. The way, obviously, just in the gameplay, you see it in these two bits. You see it firstly when they put the C4 on the pillar of the underground car park, and it brings down the road with the tank on top of it. And obviously that's dynamic. That doesn't just happen. You have to trigger that to happen. And secondly, obviously that just seems relatively small in comparison with that huge skyscraper falling down. From what has appeared in the interviews afterwards, that's scary because it looks like something that's scripted and would happen like they have it bits in Battlefield 3. Apparently it's not at all, and it is purely spawned by the fact those guys were destroying the bottom of that building to make it come down. And what we see at the end is that then the C spawn point, obviously you go, what happened to C? It's on top of this building. It's now in the rubble at the bottom.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't know to what sort of scale they're going to be doing this in Battlefield 4. But if they do it in any sort of scale, even when they have 5 or 6 small things you can do, like the tank falling down in different places, and 1 or 2 of these massive things on each level, it's going to be completely change the way Battlefield 4 is and make it a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like the way when that building came down, like I heard people talking tactics, saying like, oh, it's much easier to take it, or it's much harder to take it once it's just a pile of rubble, 'cause it's a big open capture point. So they think like a lot of people are going to take the point and then like below the C4 at the bottom and just jump off the top. I mean, that's just such a cool thing. And then you got the big tidal wave from the fall down as well.
Yeah,
really great. So
it just seems like this dynamic world, which is fantastic. Okay, guys, so thanks for listening. That's College Gaming, Darren and Toby's top 5 games of E3 for each of us. Any comments, any things you don't agree with, any things you want to say, any things we didn't mention. And bear in mind, if we didn't mention something, we almost certainly probably did notice it and did like it, but it's been a really good E3 this year. So we both had to really, choose one very carefully. But any thoughts, any opinions, put them down below. Anything you want to ask us about any of these games, please put them down below. If not, I think that's all from me and Darren.
Yep. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys next time. No, okay. If you want to see what the new Halo looks like, go back to E3 2008 and look at that Halo. It's the same. Just slightly prettier, but yeah, the fact it annoyed me.
Slightly pretty.